Sandwiched between DC and Richmond, Fredericksburg is constrained by the same challenges faced by every undervalued suburban community or small town. We ship a majority of our talent out every day, and local government often misidentifies the problem, leaving startups without a place at the table. But we're a small group of entrepreneurs and activists out to change the game. In success or failure, triumph or defeat, we're on display. And we're all in.
The economy is changing in a really fundamental way. And so the economy of tomorrow is not the economy of today, but colored difference. It's different.
John Sechrest is a global facilitator for Startup Weekend. He's an active supporter of the Northwest startup ecosystem. He coordinates the Lean Startup Seattle group and is the founder of the Seattle Angel Conference as well as the Willamette Angel Conference, expanding entrepreneurial opportunities worldwide. So point blank, he's a bad mamma jam, and for the purposes of this show, pay attention when he speaks.
And we're going to have some consequences to our behavior that are going to be really substantial, and the mechanisms of the past are not going to work. And so people have to really understand a new way of thinking for the new economy to be effective. I would much rather have people failing at startups and learning a lot than to have them unemployed and unhappy and have social unrest and all the things that come with that.
Fredericksburg is a town 50 miles south of DC and 50 miles north of Richmond. Being a Civil War battle town, fighting for progression is nothing new to this environment, but it hasn't been seen for some time.
This country started out as a massive guerrilla protest, right? And that's a very startup mindset.
Yeah, in a diplomatic way of saying it is that they weren't comfortable. They weren't comfortable with, with the status quo.
This is Christine Goodwin and Matt Armstrong. Both are local entrepreneurs in Fredericksburg, and both are embracing the challenge of pushing this region forward. They have united in order to produce solutions to the city's economic problems.
The picture here is not unique to us, right? It's the picture of our economy globally. We're in massive crisis, and a lot of people are spending a lot of energy and a lot of time talking about it.
Yeah.
And yet if you look at what's going on in the startup world, globally, those are the people who are getting shit done. And I think that you find that times of crisis bring to the surface very quickly people who want to get things done because it matters, and because if you don't, the consequences are completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
And I think that our region has a massive tradition in that, and I think that we, like the rest of the world, are suffering economically. And we have an incredibly important pool of talent. We have all of these resources in the area that I don't believe as an economic region we have valued appropriately. And we certainly haven't created a place for those resources to flourish and create new resources, and that's what this is about. We think that we're alone. I think that's our biggest challenge, that we think that we're alone and we don't feel like we have the support and infrastructure that we need to step out of our cars, to get off of 95, and to go for it, because that takes a certain level of personal disruption. We are an area that is tight, that has this rich tradition of disruption and innovation in a way on a massive scale, right? It started here in the taverns and homes of people who said, this is bullshit. We can do better, and not even we can do better, we must do better.
For sure. Jonathon Perrelli came down and he talked about the ecosystem, and it brought a lot of people together.
Yeah.
And for the first time, somebody from outside the region said, hey, this is extremely important.
Yeah.
And it's a fragile ecosystem, if any ecosystem at all, and you need three people.
Right.
You need people to invest. You need all these things. After that discussion, I left pumped.
Every company needs capital to start, customers to sell to, employees to help thrive, and earned media. And I look for earned media from Fredericksburg all the time, and I see it from Fredericksburg. We need to start seeing it in Fast Company and Wall Street Journal and others talking about a town like this.
Forming from the aspirations of a select few is a movement that strives for vast economic progression in the Fredericksburg region. And one element to this effort is to make a splash in order to alert the residents and local government alike that something is taking place here. A splash called Startup Weekend.
So Startup Weekend is a 54-hour event that basically immerses all the participants in the Lean Startup methodology, and our goal is to help you launch a startup at the end of 54 hours. So you come in, you pitch an idea. If your idea is selected, you form a team, and that team spends the next 48 hours building out a business. And in some cases, you'll have a sale before the 5 o'clock final pitch on Sunday. In most cases, many of the teams will continue past Startup Weekend and incorporate and eventually launch. If this can't get off the ground, nothing will get off the ground. Like, we can't get a 54-hour event to succeed. We can't create a startup community here, and that was just unacceptable.
Andy Leonard and Lee Lapp were both team leads for the respective clans of some of the youngest and brightest minds in the region. Both came into Startup Weekend not knowing what to expect, well, aside from expecting to exert domination.
I pitched a kind of a health app that instead of you paying someone else to make you more healthy, you gave me your money, and the better you did, the more money of yours I gave back.
I really had no really expectations, didn't have time to think about them. Got in there and realized there's more people than I thought they were, older than I thought they were going to be. I'd been used to seeing younger people at startup events, but that wasn't the case. It was different, a little nervous.
I have never seen so many pitches stay 60 seconds or under and nail it. I'm really proud of our participants. They came prepared, and that is such a big part of the game.
Sticky note process, I was thinking, well, hopefully I don't have to put all 3 of my votes on mine so we can get selected. I was a little nervous about that, but then people started voting for us. But I was kind of nervous because nobody really wanted to, they would come up to me and engage me, but they wouldn't join our team right away. Nobody's really interested. So I was like, oh God, nobody likes me. They like the idea, but don't like me.
Yeah, the sticky note process was, completely dejected to elated, within like 5 minutes. But I was actually preparing to step off to go and get on another team when people started to come to my sticky note monstrosity on the wall.
I guess the first thing I realized was that his idea was something that I'd never seen implemented before. Like, I've never seen an example of a student ID on a smartphone, so I thought, wow, that sounds like a great idea because it seems so obvious.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what got me into that group was the group that was forming. I thought there were a lot of good ideas there, some that I really liked.
I was excited that we were selected. I was really looking forward to hopefully winning the whole thing. From the onset, I had big hopes and aspirations with the Startup Weekend, and so it was good to see that we didn't get eliminated right off the bat and my dreams would be crushed. I was feeling good about the team. We needed just a couple business people and a graphics guy, and we got all the sort of things we needed, and so I was confident.
Well, Friday night, everything changed, right? I
think that's when we changed courses from the wellness app to the good job, Dad.
Yeah, they want you to focus. They want you to narrow down everything that you're doing, because you really don't have that much time to develop something that is going to hit as many audiences as you want. Well, we narrowed it down, we whittled it down, we tore it apart, and then the last thing we had was like, well, let's just target fathers and the fact that a lot of times they don't have enough quality time with their children, and how do we help them? I think I kicked everyone out at like around midnight. Yeah, people started, doing some touch and goes, and when people start falling asleep, momentum's kind of lost, so we called it a night.
I was up until 2.
I was up till like 3:30, 4.
Yeah.
The weekend seems to be moving along great for most teams and their eventual products.
We all have, these guys were interested in the project because we're all sort of in the same kind of sphere of, we have similar hobbies.
Mike came up with the idea, and the idea that we're currently working on is to help families organize chores and provide points and possibly rewards.
But for Lee Lapp's group, Saturday morning held its fair share of surprises and letdowns.
We're the first ones in.
Yeah.
We should. They're all coders. You guys don't get up at 7. And our 2 other coders. We had 3 coders.
They showed up and quit.
Yeah, they showed up like 2 hours late and then quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we broke them.
Yeah. It didn't take long to break them. Just show up at 7. They're like, I quit.
But overall, Saturday was probably the most painful day, I think.
Yep.
Like Friday night was kind of fun. Saturday was kind of the grind.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. It's just an unbelievable feeling. Just the potential that we're competing and have a chance of winning. It's just a great feeling, and really speaks to the volumes of the work that everybody's put forth.
By Saturday night, we kind of melded back together as a team. We were down to the final 4 team members of 8.
Yeah, we'd lost everyone up to that point.
So we kind of re-scoped our effort and said, hey, here's what we can actually get done by tomorrow so we don't look like idiots. And I don't even think we had a minimum viable product. Like our pitch on Sunday wasn't even an MVP. It was more of a, hey, we've got a concept that people have validated conceptually, and we've got a good plan for going out and taking that validation to the next level.
But yeah, you know, it was good seeing what everybody else was doing before I went, so I wasn't sort of stacking myself up against them and worrying about that after my presentation. So I got to enjoy sort of all the presentations, but I was a little nervous.
That presentation went pretty well, mostly because I only had like a 15-second part of it. But you know, everyone on the team had the ability to say something, which mattered to me because everyone had, when we were developing the idea, input on what the product was.
The thing is everybody seemed like they had a great idea, that everybody, if they were to pursue it and put themselves into it, that they would find success. But we were sort of really nervous about Flash Thrift.
Yeah, I was nervous.
I mean, I really like Go Podium Pro as well.
Absolutely. I completely thought we had a chance to win. Completely thought we had a chance to win. Mostly because of the impact that I thought our app could have on people. Most of the apps were more along the lines of fashion-oriented, tech-oriented, and ours was focused on how can we make people better in their daily lives.
I mean, regardless of the outcome, I knew that. I mean, it was still a fantastic idea, regardless of the outcome. So I was like, I still wanted to work with Andy, regardless of whether or not we win or lose.
Well, thanks, man.
I mean, it's a good idea.
Okay, so after much debate, we picked the third place team because we loved the hustle of this team, and we loved actually how easy the value prop was. It was easy, it was fun. It was almost crazy, which kind of made it even more appealing. So the third place winner is Flash Thrift.
Got this, buddy.
Yeah, nearly there.
Sigh of relief.
Yeah.
I thought at that point that we had it, honestly.
Okay, so for the number two, one of the things we liked about this particular team and idea was that they were going after a market where there were clearly players in there that were making an awful lot of money. And it was about time that kind of business goes online. So the number two company was Podium Pro.
It's us. It's us.
First place, but
It's us.
got this. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, after Podium Pro got second place, I was happy because I thought we were going to get first. And we did.
Yeah.
So the first place company, the one that we really loved the most, first of all, we loved the validation. They seemed to like hustle, ask all the right people, all the right questions, and kind of told a really great story. But I think what was more interesting about this particular company was that they're taking, every other industry has already kind of made this big jump, and this company is trying to do the same thing for this particular industry. So just jumping right to it, the winner of Startup Weekend Fredericksburg is Company Ideas.
Yeah, Bosch is a name. Company Ideas.
My heart sank. I was like, wait, that's
Really?
not us. Yeah, I did. And then until 2 seconds later, he's like, oh, wait, Campus Ideas.
Sorry, yeah, Campus Ideas.
It's not us.
Fourth place?
Fourth place. Who got fifth?
For Andy, Leonard, and team, this victory proves that college students actually have a place here in Fredericksburg in order to vamp up the growth. For Lee Lapp, it appears the only casualty to his loss was, well, all of his hair. And for Christine Goodwin, she simply won either way.
I was hoping we'd get 45, so to have 130 people come through that venue, and to have 65 people registered as participants, and to have 9 teams with really different focus points and really different startups, who really represented the strengths of this region with regards to infotech to people who really matter globally in the startup world. That was like one of those defining moments where you go, damn, like check us out, like look what we did, right? Like we did it.
Really, the moment I got here, I realized that Fredericksburg was untapped. I didn't know what part I was going to play in it, but I felt like, dude, why hasn't this place blown up?
I thought the event was hugely successful. Look at the judges panel, a couple of VCs from around the country that are, pretty prominent in the startup world. The biggest thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see more involvement from, regional stakeholders. This thing was basically pulled off by a couple of people who got a wild idea and went after with some tenacity. And I think to go forward and sustain the momentum of this, we're going to need, our local governments and our quasi-governmental agencies to kind of jump into the fray.
When all you're doing is making a difference for yourself, you're not making a difference. And my personal belief with this thing that we're doing here for startups is that more is better, right? And what I mean by more is that the more that we can do to help other people who may not be as comfortable with doing some of the things that I do to blow shit up to get things done, the better. I'm totally cool with blasting holes in mountains. I get a particular thrill out of that. It's no fun for me if I'm the only one who walks through the tunnel.
No, you can't just ride the momentum. I mean, it's like dropping a stone in the pond. The ripple gets smaller the further it gets out. So I think we kind of did that. We dropped a pretty big stone in the pond on whatever that was, June 7th through the 9th, Startup Weekend. But if we don't drop another stone or keep going, then no, it's going to dissipate.
As we've disconnected productivity from work hours, that means that there's a lot of people who are going to have the consequences of not working and getting paid the way they used to. Innovation economy of the next step is going to come from people doing startups today. It's not because of mid-sized businesses or big businesses of today. They are still going to be here. They'll be doing something else. But the new people that are going to be hired are going to come through this innovation economy. So we better have the skills to do that.
For these individuals, a successful Startup Weekend proved to be validation that the region is ready for further growth. However, within the success comes realization that many more challenges exist. So the question is, does anyone have another rock to chuck in the pond?